Ability check. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Sweet. All right. So logistics are good. Okay, so hi. I'm here to teach a workshop on 3-club contact. So basically involving contact moves for 3 clubs. Just doing all sorts of things here. 3 clubs, contact, continuous throws, doing things that involve more than just catching and throwing with your hands, but also landing and rolling with your body. So to transition from last workshop, I was actually at Marvin's house in Arizona, and at that time, I didn't have any clubs, and he just did fishtails with both hands. And I was like, okay, dude, I'm buying clubs from you that day. So thanks, Marvin. Shout out. Okay, so, and these are the clubs I got from Marvin that day when he showed me fishtails with both hands.
Hey, Marvin on color. Kevin has a set. Kevin won a set.
So basically, my style involves just keeping the clubs in motion, going in and out of traps, and just going back into rolls, stuff like that. So what I'm going to teach in this workshop is just the 3 basic cascades, contact cascades that I learned. So the expectation here is to just get an idea of how to start practicing them. I had to drill these for weeks before they started working. So yeah, basically I'm going to teach this arm roll, how to get started in practicing this one. This one just kind of rolls down the arm, whoa, and it's a native placement. The other one I'm going to teach that you can try to practice is this roll, called by many names. And the last one I'm going to try to teach is this reverse shoulder pad cascade as such. Okay, so get started with 1 club, and we're going to do this one's called, we're calling it the native arm roll period, native arm roll period. So what you're going to do is you're going to have a club. Let me make sure we're all good to go. Okay, you're going to take 1 club. You are going to find, hold on, where's my video? Did my video just turn off?
No, you're good. You're good.
You're good.
Solid. Okay, so first thing you're going to do is you want to find the balance point. So from last workshop, we found the balance point on the club. So basically you want to find the balance point, and a little bit above on the body is where it's going to be rolling down your arm. So what you're going to do is hold the club straight up. The club body is going to be tapping on the meaty part of your shoulder, not the bony corner, but the meaty section. So you're going to get to the meat section with your club body and let go. And basically when you let go, the handle, okay, so one more thing about these tricks is everyone's body architecture is different. So it's up to you to figure out how the club will move in relation to areas of your body. Some of you are larger, shorter, smaller, etc. So I'm just going to be teaching from my reference. So you're going to touch the club body on this meaty part of your shoulder. It's going to drop, and the handle may or may not tap on your chest. So what's going to happen is the same hand that's dropping the club, you're just going to kind of go across your body in like a little chopping motion. So this is what it's going to look like. And it's going to roll down your arm, and you're going to catch the club with the other hand. Roll down, catch the club with the other hand. So all these moves are going to require a lot of calibration. In the beginning, it's going to fall off this side. It's going to not roll. It's going to barely just fall off your chest. So it's going to take a while, but generally, if you just shoot your arm straight out diagonally across you, the club will usually take that path, and then you catch it on the other arm. So, everything good here? Okay. To practice, so that's basically that roll, and you want to just keep drilling that on both arms. And in order to start the second club, as the first one passes your elbow, you start the second club, and with that hand, catch the first club. So that's going to take a lot of calibration, but that is basically how you will progress in practicing that. It's going to be the same progression as learning a 3-ball cascade. You start with 1, and then you start with 2, starting from both directions. And then eventually, when that's solid enough, you will try 3 until the end of time, until you get it. So, did I learn the rolls before the shoulder pads? Weird thing is I actually learned this one first, which I will teach next. I learned shoulder pads last, actually. Okay, so that's the native side arm roll. So it's a great, once you have it, it's a really reliable move. Once you have enough. So one more tip with this move is as it taps your shoulder and comes down, I let the handle hit my chest, and that kind of prevents it from turning anymore, which makes it just roll down straight down my arm. So it kind of gives it a trajectory. So it's another point of reference that makes it so I don't have to think, and it usually works. So that's that. Next, we're gonna go over, and again, this 30 minutes is not a lot of time, so I'm just gonna go over some general tips on learning on how to start practicing these moves. Next one is this roll. I first saw it from Lucas Adverse, and he had learned it from Hector Gonzalez, who popularized it, called it the Wero roll. This morning, this guy Quentin on Instagram, another really great club juggler, called it the wobble roll. I'm gonna just call it that because it rolls off the tongue, and that's what it looks like. It's a little wobble. So this is the roll that I'm gonna be teaching now. It's almost like a little fishtail motion because it dips outside and dips inside your arm as it falls down. So this move starts with a chest placement. So you can hold the club upright and just kind of turn it towards you to your chest. And then this move has 3 areas you want to be thinking about where you're placing it on the chest. If you place it a little bit inwards toward your chest, it's gonna roll out a little flat. It's gonna be a little flat when it rolls out. What looks good, I think, and Marvin thinks also, is when you make it very like a wheel plane roll. So if you place it a little bit out where your chest is, that tends to make the roll happen a little vertical. So what's gonna happen is you're gonna place it on your chest, let go, and the center of the club is gonna hit basically your arm, your elbow area. The tail is going to make a turn on the outside, and then as it turns, you're going to move your arm just slightly away, which makes the club fall inwards. Because you want it to fall inwards so you can catch it with your other hand. So again, you're gonna place it, and it's gonna fall right here, basically at your elbow, or I don't know how long your arm is. My elbow, that's where it hits. The handle's gonna turn outside your arm, and you're gonna kind of move your arm just slightly, which makes it fall inwards. And you're just gonna catch it with your other hand. So it's gonna look like this. I'll do a couple angles. It's gonna roll out, and it's gonna fall to the other side. And with both of these tricks, keeping your arm straight helps, because having your arm straight is a very definite position you can get to, and it also helps the roll smooth out on Because if you keep going like halfway, not all the way out, you're kind of changing how your arm is shaping. But if you always try to go for the straight arm, that's a very definite point that it can, definite surface that it will be rolling on to make it more predictable. So if you're always like this, oh, it's like, ooh, like that, it will do more random things. You want to try to cut out the variables, and there are a lot when you're doing this body stuff. Okay, so let's see. Any questions about that one? I'm just gonna keep demonstrating that for a bit because it's kind of a weird one. To start with 2, to start drilling 2, basically as it comes down off your arm, you can give it a little pop. That gives you slightly more time to start the next one. And the moment you start the next one on your chest is when the first one is basically leaving your arm. So as it leaves your arm, you're gonna place and catch, and immediately drop your second arm straight to get that roll through. So here, catch, and roll through. That's gonna take a while to get, but that's the nature of learning these cascades. And when you're catching the club, you can catch it both ways. You can catch it like this. You can also catch it on the floor like that. You can also catch it with the in regular. So if you catch it immediately as it leaves, you will catch it in this upside down bottle grip. If you wait for it to do a little spin, you can catch it straight. So just another tip. Again, this one takes a while to get. But important thing for the purpose of this workshop is to just get some tips on how to start practicing it. Because once you get it, it's a really, really reliable move, because compared to a lot of juggling moves, it actually takes a bit of time. You have a lot of leeway. It like contacts many points on the arm, so you can correct. So it's a nice move to just do this forever. Okay. So the next trick is a reverse cascade shoulder pad. So the reverse cascade shoulder pad, a lot of people learn this pattern with the 4-2-3-1, which obviously I haven't practiced that much. I basically just learned this reverse cascade one because along with the other two tricks I just showed you, they're both 3-3-3 native side cascades, which I'll show you later what you can do if you have all three. So basically this one, you're using the curvature of the club body to kind of bounce off your shoulder and come down. So what you want to do is let go of the club and let it hit your chest right at this corner. But you're just kind of letting the club go. You're letting the club drop. You're not really putting any force into the toss. You're just aiming for this corner to first contact your shoulder and letting it roll. And then what you want to do in the beginning is if you drop your legs a little bit, that'll give more chance of it. You're kind of like absorbing the impact so that it rolls instead of bouncing off your shoulder. So kind of use your legs a little bit and see if you can just kind of get one going. It shouldn't hurt, but I know it hurts in the beginning because you're slamming that club at your at your collarbone. So as you practice this one, and again, this one is also a native side, meaning hand that is throwing it at the side of that side. Right hand, throw to right shoulder, and you're gonna catch it with the other hand. And then as you practice this more, so this one is a lot harder to explain. You just kind of have to keep experimenting it, because the way you move your body is you are dropping kind of away from the club. So that kind of lets it do a little bounce. And then you go back up, which pushes the club forward. So you're kind of dropping a little bit away and back, and then getting up forward to push the club off of your shoulder. And as you practice it more, you can just, instead of using your legs, you can just kind of shift a bit, and then it'll work. In the beginning, having the leg just kind of buttressing the throw helps a lot. And it's the same way to try to practice two. You start one, and as it's falling off your shoulder, start the second and catch that first one. So here and here. Much like the other two tricks, this one takes a lot of calibration. And there's so many variations that a lot of South American jugglers do with this stuff. It's just like these leg taps and all these crazy things. Lots of possibilities, but first thing is to just try to get the cascade going. Because once you get any of these cascades going, you kind of have an idea of how much time each move takes, so you can mix and match these moves. Okay, thanks, Henry. So it's not that much time left. So if anyone has any questions about any of these moves, feel free to hit me up on Instagram or Facebook. My Instagram is willis.wav. Someone can throw that up. Yeah, you can send me a video of what it's looking like, and I can try to help you out. But a lot of it is just calibrating the way your arm is placed relative to what the club is doing over time, because there's a lot of little muscles you're calibrating to control where this heck is this club going. And sometimes it's just gonna do something stupid for a while until you figure out why. And then maybe you can start correcting it. So if you get all these cascades down, something you can do with it is basically you can do this cascade and go directly into the next cascade. And then you can go directly into the next cascade, just like that. And you can even just do one of each on each side, such as the roll here, shoulder pad, roll, this one, shoulder pad, roll, this one, shoulder pad. Basically, once you have the cascades, each of these moves becomes a piece of this juggling puzzle that you can use. And you can just figure out when you can throw in a certain move, make a pattern, post it on Instagram so we can all see it and get inspired. Okay, so the next part I want to talk about is, so my main goal with this type of juggling, I just like to have a lot of moves continuously, one after the other, and then seemingly connecting all together. So one thing that connects these moves and gives you kind of a break from these moves is traps. So the trap I'm going to be talking about is the inside trap, and body is facing down. So this inside trap, the club is inside your wrist. This gives it that swingability. So we're going to do this with two clubs. The first one I'm going to teach is, so do your best to get this arm roll going. And once the arm roll is going at the end here, it's gonna fall off your arm. And what you're gonna do with the other club is trap over it. If you trap over it and the body's facing away from you, you can let the knob fall and it becomes this swingy thing. So the swinging thing gives continuity of motion because all the contact rolls, it's gonna be continuing to move. And then the moment you catch that trap, instead of like stopping, if you did this body up trap, and it's more of a stop, you trap with this, you can continue swinging and releasing. That's the motion. So this is one transition. So the arm roll comes down and you're gonna trap over it and you just do the swingy stuff. And with this trap, it could be swinging inwards as you catch it, or outwards or away from you as you catch it. If you take the arm roll and you trap over that, it gives you a trap that traps swinging inwards. So one way to connect these moves is, let's say you're doing this cascade and you do this over trap, and as it's swinging over, you use this empty hand or this left hand to start the next move. And that's kind of a transition. Another thing you can do is just swinging with this trap. You just do a half spin and come and trap it with the other hand and just let it swing. This is to get you used to the swinging motion and getting from one hand to the other with a continuous motion. And then one thing you can do is when you trap it, if you swing away from you, you can trap it again and it will continue into an inward spin. So for example, so you just, basically one club is being trapped in the middle and it's just going around in a circle. This allows just continuous motion. It gives you a break from all the other stuff. And you can go right into an arm roll, for example. 5 minutes. So one more I wanted to teach is this into a trap. So if you have 2 clubs, if you're able to do this move, the club is gonna drop off your arm upside down, this upside down orientation. If you trap it, it becomes an outside swing. So for example, right here, trap, that's an outside swing. So with the arm roll, if you trap it over, that's an inside swing trap. But if you trap it after this wobble roll, it's gonna become an outside swinging trap. Now this is probably hard to understand if you don't have a lot of these moves down, but hopefully it gives you some ideas. Okay, let's see here. So one more thing you can do after you get the shoulder pad that I learned from Willis Hsieh is you can do the shoulder pad and let it fall to your leg. So you kind of have to get the shoulder pad going and then shift your body away from the club. So it gives it a little turn. And then if you let it drop to your leg, it'll hit your leg and you can catch it here. So what it looks like is this. So that gives the possibility of stuff that I've done in my videos where you do the shoulder pad, then you tap it back. So we got like a few minutes left. Basically everything I just taught you if you got it all, which is not going to be now if you just started practicing them, you can combine them all into this one pattern that I found that I like a lot. So just like that. So it's going to go like this. Got the tap. Okay, so that pattern was literally everything I had just taught mashed into a symmetrical pattern. So, okay. Yeah, again, if anyone wants to send me any videos of their progress doing this stuff, if you're interested, I'm always down to check it out because I'm always down for more people trying to explore this realm because I think it's really fun. And there's a lot of reliable moves where you can just jam out to the music and keep going without dropping. Yeah. And I'm still pretty new to relatively new to juggling and clubs, so I'm always learning new stuff, but just have found this little niche for myself that is fun. So I hope that you guys got something out of this and have something to practice.
Thanks, dude. That was great.